There's something undeniably magical about the warmth and character of an English cottage home. These charming spaces evoke memories of afternoons spent at Grandma's house, surrounded by well-loved treasures and comfortable furnishings that tell stories of generations past. Today's interpretation of cottage style brings together that cherished vintage charm with modern rustic elegance, creating interiors that feel both nostalgic and refreshingly current.
Welcome to Rustic Elegance. Let's embark on a journey through the beauty of rustic decor, celebrating the warmth, simplicity, and natural charm of this timeless design.
Grandma's cozy vintage charm. How to style your English cottage home with modern rustic elegance. The beauty of English cottage style lies in its authentic imperfection, the collected over time aesthetic that can't be purchased in a single shopping trip. This approach celebrates patina and character, mixing antique finds with carefully chosen modern elements that complement rather than compete with the home's inherent charm. The result is a space that feels both personal and timeless, offering a welcome respite from the sleek minimalism that has dominated interior design in recent years. In this guide, we'll explore how to create an English cottage home that honors vintage charm while incorporating modern rustic touches. From the inviting living room to the heart of the home kitchen, from restful bedrooms to welcoming entryways, we'll discover how to blend old and new for a home that feels both comfortably familiar and refreshingly current. Whether you live in an actual cottage or simply want to infuse your contemporary space with cozy cottage character, these ideas will help you create a home that radiates warmth, comfort, and personality. 1. Embracing vintage charm, creating a cozy English cottage living room with modern rustic touches. Setting the foundation with comfortable seating. The heart of any English cottage living room is comfortable, inviting seating that encourages long conversations and lazy afternoon naps. Look for sofas with rounded arms and soft cushions, preferably upholstered in natural fabrics like linen or cotton in subtle patterns or muted colors. A classic roll-arm sofa covered in a washable slipcover offers practical comfort with vintage appeal, while a pair of well-worn leather armchairs can introduce a more masculine, rustic element. The modern twist comes through in cleaner silhouettes and contemporary fabric choices. Think traditional shapes in updated neutral tones, rather than the floral patterns of grandmother's era. Layering textiles for warmth and character. Textiles play a crucial role in creating the cozy atmosphere essential to English cottage style. Layer your living room with a collection of cushions in complementary fabrics, perhaps mixing antique needlepoint pillows with modern linen covers or subtle geometric prints. Drape soft throws across sofa arms and chair backs, choosing natural materials like wool or cotton in colors that complement your upholstery. A vintage-inspired area rug anchors the seating arrangement, with traditional patterns reinterpreted in more subtle colorways for a modern feel. Window treatments should be simple and functional. Think linen curtains that filter light beautifully or Roman shades in classic ticking stripes. Thoughtful furniture arrangement. The furniture arrangement in an English cottage living room should prioritize conversation and comfort over formal symmetry. Create intimate seating groups where people can naturally gather and chat, keeping furniture proportions appropriate to the scale of your room. A distinctive coffee table, perhaps a weathered wooden chest or a round pedestal table, serves as both functional surface and focal point. Complement larger pieces with small occasional tables that can be easily moved where needed. Traditional elements like a secretary desk or bookcase provide practicality, while showcasing personality through displayed collections. Rustic elegance in the kitchen. How to infuse cozy vintage charm into your English cottage style. Character-rich cabinetry. The cabinetry in an English cottage kitchen sets the tone for the entire space, balancing practical storage needs with abundant charm. Rather than matching built-ins throughout, embrace a more collected look with a freestanding cupboard or hutch displaying favorite dishes alongside everyday essentials. Consider glass-fronted upper cabinets or open shelving to showcase pretty pottery, with solid lower cabinets providing concealed storage for less attractive necessities. For a modern interpretation of cottage style, combine painted cabinetry and soft, muted colors with natural wood elements that add rustic warmth. Practical, characterful surfaces. Countertops in an English cottage kitchen should prioritize both beauty and functionality. butcher block brings natural warmth and ages beautifully with use, developing a patina that tells the story of family meals prepared over years. Marble offers timeless elegance but embraces imperfection as it naturally etches and stains through daily use. For backsplashes, consider handmade ceramic tiles with subtle variations in color and texture, installed in a classic pattern like subway or herringbone. Flooring should be practical enough to withstand the heart of the home, perhaps reclaimed wood planks that already bear the marks of history, or durable natural stone that improves with age. The modern rustic balance emerges through mixing these elements thoughtfully, perhaps combining a contemporary quartz countertop with a vintage farmhouse sink. A gathering table at the heart. The table is the soul of the English cottage kitchen, providing not just a dining surface but a place for everything from rolling pastry to sorting mail to gathering with loved ones. Look for a farmhouse table with a weathered wood top that won't show every mark and scratch. After all, these imperfections become tomorrow's patina. Surround it with an eclectic mix of seating, perhaps Windsor chairs painted in a color pulled from your cabinetry, alongside a cushioned bench that maximizes space and invites lingering conversations. A vintage textile as a table runner adds color and pattern, while protecting the surface from hot dishes. Modern rustic touches might include contemporary pendant lighting above the table or sleek, minimal tableware that lets the natural beauty of fresh ingredients shine. Three, Timeless bedroom style, blending grandma's vintage charm with modern rustic elements. Creating a restful foundation. The English cottage bedroom begins with a foundation of restful simplicity, balancing vintage charm with the clean comfort modern life demands. Center the room around a bed that makes a subtle statement, perhaps an iron frame with simple curves, a wooden sleigh bed with gentle patina, or a upholstered headboard in natural linen. Dress the bed in layers of breathable, natural textiles, mixing vintage-inspired patterns at different scales. Perhaps a matelass coverlet, a classic stripe or subtle floral duvet, and a collection of pillows in complementary fabrics. The modern rustic touch comes through in the restraint, choosing quality over quantity and allowing negative space to balance the pattern and texture. Character through furnishings. Furnishings in an English cottage bedroom should prioritize both function and character, with each piece earning its place through either utility or beauty, ideally both. A weathered wooden chest of drawers provides essential storage while adding rustic texture. A small writing desk beneath a window creates a contemplative spot with vintage appeal. Consider repurposing unexpected items, perhaps an antique stepladder as a bedside table or a painted wooden chair to drape tomorrow's clothes. The modern interpretation of cottage style incorporates thoughtful editing, allowing each piece breathing room rather than crowding the space. Lighting for atmosphere and function. Lighting in the English cottage bedroom should create a soft, flattering glow while providing practical illumination where needed. Combine ambient lighting from a central fixture, perhaps a simple chandelier with aged metal finish or a flush mount with vintage-inspired glass, with task lighting for reading and accent lighting to highlight architectural features. Table lamps on bedside surfaces provide both decorative presence and functional light for reading, while wall-mounted sconces save precious surface space in smaller rooms. Consider the fixtures themselves as decorative elements, perhaps incorporating a repurposed vintage lamp base paired with a new linen shade, or a modern interpretation of a traditional design. Four, creating a warm, inviting entryway, merging cozy vintage charm with modern rustic elegance. Setting the tone with wall treatments. The entryway offers the first impression of your home's interior, establishing the English cottage aesthetic from the moment guests cross the threshold. Consider wall treatments that add character and warmth. Perhaps shiplap painted in a soft neutral, traditional beadboard wainscoting topped with patterned wallpaper, or simply walls painted in a welcoming hue that transitions beautifully to adjacent spaces. A vintage-inspired wallpaper in a subtle pattern can add charm without overwhelming the often small dimensions of an entry. For a modern rustic interpretation, consider using traditional materials in contemporary ways, perhaps applying vertical shiplap instead of horizontal, or choosing a wallpaper that reinterprets classic patterns in updated colorways. Practical, beautiful storage solutions. Storage is essential in an entryway, containing the clutter of daily life while contributing to the cottage aesthetic. Look for pieces with character that serve multiple functions, perhaps a painted wooden bench with cubbies beneath for shoes, a vintage dresser repurposed for gloves and scarves, or wall-mounted hooks for coats and bags. An antique chest provides closed storage while offering a surface for keys and mail. Baskets corral smaller items while adding natural texture, perhaps a large floor basket for umbrellas or a collection of smaller baskets on a shelf for each family member's essentials. The modern rustic approach maintains the charm of vintage pieces while ensuring they meet contemporary storage needs, perhaps adding custom cushions to an antique bench for comfort or reinforcing shelves to bear the weight of today's heavier items. Layering textiles and lighting. Textiles and lighting transform a merely functional entryway into a welcoming transition space with English cottage charm. A vintage-inspired runner protects floors while adding pattern and color, ideally in a forgiving pattern and durable material suited to a high-traffic area. Consider natural fiber rugs with subtle pattern or traditional designs reinterpreted in more muted colorways for a modern approach. Lighting should be both practical and atmospheric. Perhaps a simple pendant light with character overhead, supplemented by a small table lamp if space allows. Window treatments should balance privacy with natural light. Perhaps cafe curtains that allow light through the upper windows while screening the lower portion from street view. The layering of these elements creates depth and interest even in a small space. DIY vintage decor. How to add modern rustic elegance to your English cottage home on a budget. Refreshing furniture with paint and new hardware. One of the most accessible ways to achieve English cottage style on a budget is transforming existing furniture with paint and updated hardware. Mismatched wooden pieces gain cohesion through a unified color palette. Perhaps creamy white for a traditional look or muted sage green for a more contemporary interpretation. Consider painting just portions of pieces for modern contrast. The base of a table while leaving the top natural, or the frame of a mirror while preserving an aged finish on decorative details. Upgraded hardware makes a remarkable difference. Replace modern pulls with vintage-inspired cup pulls or glass knobs on dressers, or add decorative hooks to create an entry organization system with period charm. The beauty of DIY furniture transformation lies in its imperfection. Slight brush marks or gentle distressing adds to the authenticity of cottage style. Creating character with architectural salvage. Architectural salvage offers tremendous potential for adding authentic vintage charm to newer homes lacking built-in character. Consider installing reclaimed wooden beams, either structural or decorative, to add rustic elegance to ceilings. Vintage doors can be repurposed as headboards, room dividers, or tabletops with history built in. Salvaged mantels create instant architectural focus, even when not surrounding a functional fireplace. Old windows with divided panes make charming frames for photographs or botanical specimens, while vintage hardware like door plates and knobs add authentic detail to basic doors. Even small elements like vintage heat grates can be repurposed as decorative wall hangings. The modern rustic approach balances these characterful elements with cleaner, more contemporary surroundings rather than creating an overwhelmingly vintage space. Textile projects with vintage fabric. Textiles offer endless opportunities for DIY projects that add English cottage charm throughout your home. Vintage linens find new life as pillow covers, table runners, or framed as wall art. Consider learning simple sewing skills to create slip covers for modern furniture, transforming clean-lined contemporary pieces with the soft, relaxed feel of cottage style. Even tea towels can become cafe curtains with a simple rod pocket, while vintage handkerchiefs might be stitched together to create a unique throw pillow. Look beyond traditional fabric sources. Antique grain sacks, feed bags with typography, or even vintage clothing can provide unique textiles with built-in character and history. Conclusion. Creating an English cottage home with the perfect balance of vintage charm and modern rustic elegance doesn't require an unlimited budget or an actual thatched roof cottage. Instead, it emerges through thoughtful curation, an appreciation for imperfection, and a willingness to blend old and new in unexpected ways. The most successful cottage-inspired spaces feel deeply personal, evolving over time as new treasures are discovered and incorporated alongside existing pieces with meaning and history. As you develop your own interpretation of English cottage style, remember that the goal isn't perfection or adherence to strict design rules. Rather, aim for creating a home that feels both authentic to its architectural character and deeply comfortable for modern living. A place where memories can be made amidst surroundings that tell stories of both past and present. With some creativity, patience for the process, and an eye for the beauty and imperfection, you can create spaces that honor grandmother's vintage charm while feeling fresh and relevant for today's lifestyle. The true magic of English cottage style lies in its accessibility and authenticity. Unlike more formal design approaches, it welcomes the handmade, the slightly worn, and the personally meaningful. By combining cherished vintage elements with carefully chosen modern pieces, you create a home that feels both timeless and thoroughly your own, a place of comfort, character, and enduring charm that will only improve with age.